Kirk McCain sat at the corner desk, scribbling something in a dull notebook. The teacher, an aging anorexic named Mr. Huell F. Brender, leered over in his direction, expecting an answer to a question he was more than willing to ask. "Mr. McCain," screeched Mr. Brender. "Yes," said Kirk, nervous and uptight. "Have we not yet finished taking notes?" asked Mr. Brender. "Well, no," said Kirk. "I was just trying to figure out my 2 plus 10." "Sad boy," said Mr. Brender. "Would you like to share that with the rest of the class?" "No," said Kirk. "Tut, tut," said Mr. Brender. "So perhaps I will instead. Yes, it appears our young Kirk has not yet mastered his 2 plus 10." "A damned shame," commented the rest of the class. Kirk began sulking under his desk. "Get out from under your desk, Mr. McCain," scolded Mr. Brender. "Yes, Mr. Brender," said Kirk, and resentfully obliged. Then came recess. The football jocks, perhaps best demonstrated by those extraordinarily heavy-set twins in their wide wolf shirts, ran out the door at the sound of the bell, trampling the frailer children like Kirk in the process. "One alligator, two alligator, three alligator," shouted Jacques, an all-American boy with broad shoulders and a buzz cut. "I'm an alligator in the sack," commented a mildly effeminate childhood of Italian descent. Kirk tried to play with the football jocks, but had no understanding of the rules. Said rules had never been taught to him, and he wondered who had taught said rules to the remaining children. So he ended up playing alone with himself. "Ah, Kirk, you're always one of my favorites ever since I drew you as a blatant rip-off of The Simpsons and Mo Sizlak. Your whiskey tavern may not appear much nowadays, but your Pepe Le Pew-esque pathetic lust will always be fun to write. I do regret writing you as a serial rapist in my second novel, though. This work is an attempt to remedy that complete demonization of one of my favorite characters. This is not a serious novel, just a fun little romp with Kirk, perhaps Jezebel, maybe even Kiefer Rod, just anyone we want to revisit from that 48,000 word first novel everyone hated. So sit back and read what may one day become known as my third novel, Kirk. Kirk walked the most run-down streets of Corralburg, looking for a whore, at the very least a slut. He hadn't gotten laid in 18 months, so it was quite a drag. The last chick he had been with had slept with all three members of a crappy white rap group from Hempleton in North County. "Took me 6 months, but I finally achieved my slut goals," that skank had said. Kirk laughed at the time. Perhaps it was time he visited the free clinic again, as he hadn't been to one in nearly 10 years. Maybe. He was definitely asymptomatic, so he didn't give much of a shit. Plus, it was a pain in the ass to wait in the waiting room. He never did care for Fugazi, penners of that post-punk hit waiting room, as much as others did either. His ADD was definitely kicking in. Or is all the ADD called ADHD now? Fuck it, thought Kirk. Finally approached a 20-year-old Cal Pale chick with a nice rack. "How's it going?" he asked the chick. "Hi," said the chick. Kirk grinned. She gave him a hi, which was better than the more reserved hello, though not as great as a more casual hey. "What's your name, Kirk?" asked the chick. "Eliza," replied the chick. "That's an English-ass name, Eliza," said Kirk. "Thanks," said Eliza. "I'd like to get to know you better," said Kirk. "What are you doing later?" "Just hanging out with my sorority sisters," said Eliza. "Why hang out with them when you could hang out with me?" asked Kirk. "Because you're a creep," said Eliza. I'm a creep, but I'm a good creep," said Kirk. "I'm gonna go now," Eliza said and walked off. "Damn it," said Kirk, and discreetly winked all the way home. Kirk was growing increasingly sexually frustrated. He went home and looked at Artsbook pictures of all his favorite chicks. He then saw there was a subpar concert going on at Coralberg Brewing Company and thought there might be some chicks, so he went there. "How y'all doing tonight?" asked Billy Ne'er-do-well, the lead singer of Sapar. "I smell some chronic in the house. I like it. I like it." Kirk was not a cannabis user, but smiled half-heartedly. "I'm glad people like things that they like," he said to himself. A nerdy guy approached Kirk. "Oh, hey, Kirk, it's your old pal Tom from Coralberg Community College." "Oh, hey," replied Kirk, not recognizing the nerdy guy. "Hey, so my band is playing after Subpar, and I was wondering if you want to do merch for our show." "Sure, why not?" said Kirk. "That's great. We'll pay you $30, said the nerdy guy. "Oh, by the way, you got a girlfriend?" No, said Kirk. "Why?" "Just asking to mean the price," said the nerdy guy. "Well, looks like we're up now." Billy Ne'er-do-well got off stage, and the nerdy guy got on. Kirk walked over to the merch booth. Hi, everyone, said the nerdy guy on stage. My name's Tom. This is my one-man band, Tom Ass. I don't play any instruments. It's just my beautiful voice a cappella. We can pretend that I'm playing an acoustic guitar if you want and call it acapella. Get it? Kirk was confused. Subpar was a big name. Why are they opening for Tom Ass anyway? At the merch booth, we have Corralberg's own Kirk McCain, said the nerdy guy on stage. And ladies, he's single. He'll give you sex. Kirk waved at a nearby woman with jet black hair and ocean blue eyes wearing a black dress with sunflowers on it, but she ignored him. So he decided to approach her directly. Hey, how's it going? Asked Kirk. Hello, she replied. Not good, thought Kirk. When a woman replies with hello as opposed to hi or even the better hey, it's not even a good sign. It's never a good sign. He decided to keep his head in the metaphorical game. My name's Kirk. What's yours? Mandy, she said. Oh yeah, like that one song, said Kirk. Yes, she said. You know that guy turned out to be gay? Asked Kirk. I mean, who knew, right? Look, my friends are here. I haven't seen them in a long time, she said. Really? I don't see any friends, said Kirk. Do you have any single friends? I mean, unless you're single, in case I'm interested in you. But if you're not single, then you gotta see single friends. I'd love to get to know them, or at least meet them, because I don't see them here. But you said they're here already. I believe you, even though you just said you just met them. I met you. And I don't know if you're a liar, but I try to trust everyone. And I believe that nobody is a liar, even though obviously liars exist. She walked away, and he went back to the merch booth. Didn't like that song either, asked the nerdy guy on stage. Well, it's okay. I'll never play Maroon 5 again. Here's one you might actually know. Cold hard bitch as you was sucking my dick. Kirk walked out of the bar before realizing he never got his $30. He went back to the door and a similarly scrawny and nerdy bouncer wearing an REM shirt scowled at him. I need to get back in. I need to get my $30 to another nerdy guy who was on stage. Do you have an ID, my good sir? Asked the bouncer. Well, no, but started Kirk. How'd you get it in the first place? Asked the bouncer. I don't know, said Kirk. All I know is that other nerdy guy who's on stage just still owes me $30 for working the merch booth. He is still performing, sir, said the bouncer, appearing in. I don't see you working the merch booth, so well, I left because he sucked. So then, why do you believe he owes you anything? Asked the bouncer. It always comes down to entitlement, huh? Asked Kirk. Does it? Asked the bouncer. Look, I've had a rough night, said Kirk. I didn't score, and there was this hot chick wearing sunflowers, and that's my girlfriend you're talking about, said the bouncer. I don't believe you, said Kirk. Well, actually, we broke up, but she's still mine. You can't have her, said the bouncer. I don't think you were ever dating her to begin with, said Kirk. Even if that were true, and maybe it isn't, but maybe it is. Who knows? Why would it ever matter? Why would it matter to you? Asked the bouncer. Because I love her, said Kirk. She is so beautiful, and I love how infectious her smile and eyes are. Calling smiles infectious may be a compliment, but calling eyes infectious is not. Saying she has infectious eyes implies they are diseased. I meant they're mesmerizing like the blues of the ocean, said Kirk. You know, as a surfer, you were not, said the bouncer. Well, as a surf rocker, like the Beach Boys or the Ziggins, who don't surf but still write surf rock music. You leave the Ziggins out of this, mister, said the bouncer. I'll have their good name tarnished by a scud boy like you. Scud boy, asked Kirk. That's a new insult to me. I thought I heard them all. Scud boy, I said all of them. Scud boy? Ever heard Scuzz boy, asked the bouncer. Maybe, said Kirk. One of my favorite liquors was called Scuzz, but I haven't come across it in a very long time. Well, we don't sell Scuzz, said the bouncer, but if we did sell to you, you wouldn't be able to order it because you don't have an ID. I'll have to go back home and get my other pants, said Kirk, and promptly left. Kirk sighed as he went through as many other pairs of pants, which he had bought for only a couple of clams at the Rite Aid many moons ago, so there was no ID in them either. I bet Bert Suzenka of the Ziggins never get carded, he thought. Wouldn't it be great if the Ziggins could help him get back into the bar and get his $30? He Welch thought, and it wasn't long until he found himself square face into the face of Bert Suzenka and the Ziggins themselves walking down Pine Street, or was it Bush? The streets were parallel. Well, if it isn't my biggest fan, Kirk McCain, said Bert Suzenka of the Ziggins. I know you have all our albums, said John Pountney of the Ziggins. That Tim the dinosaur, he ate all the cheese, said Dickie Little of the Ziggins. Brad Ziggins said nothing. Why won't you say anything, Brad? Whined Kirk. First you won't be my arsebook friend, and I won't say anything to me. Brad Ziggins said nothing. I can't believe I'm saying this, but fuck you, Brad Ziggin. I bought all your albums, and this is how you repay me by not even speaking to me. I even have the vinyl LP nobody else has. Then Ziggins disappeared, and Kirk was left only by himself. He went back to his sad apartment, lay down on his bare mattress, and looked at some roaches on the walls. Suddenly, the phone began to ring. He checked, and it was his mom, Zechariah McCain. Kirk sighed and let it continue to ring. He was a grown-ass man. There was no reason Talked to her at this point, especially how emotionally, verbally, and physically abusive she was. The latter, at least if you counted spanking physical abuse, which Kirk didn't. Kirk decided to leave his apartment again and left his phone at home so his mom wouldn't try bothering him again. On the way downtown, he realized I had to shit like a motherfucker, so he used the Kralberg Mission's shitty restroom, and it saved his life. He noticed there was a Mexican girl about 19 in the restroom, even though it was the men's room. Hey, how's it going? Kirk asked the Mexican girl. She spoke no English, but started holding his hand. Kirk grinned and they hooked up right there in the mission restroom where the hobos usually did it. He then left without even getting her name. She was only his second Mexican after a 40-year-old widow from a few years prior. There would be many more Mexicans to come, at least Kirk hoped there would be. He couldn't expect anything from anyone, and he knew that. Yet again, Kirk returned to his loathsome apartment. He eyed the same sad roaches and listened to a lover's quarrel between the troglodytes upstairs, one which started with frenzied lovemaking, then transpired that perhaps the self-entitled young woman's cries of, "That's so fucked up and you're so rude," and culminated with drunken laughter. Such were the woes of one Kirk McCain, only a peon in the dog-eat-dog world of Corralburg, California. And what of old Rod? Yes, Rod Nicolo, our gay Italian friend from the pizza place. Well, let's just say time had not been so kind, old Rod, and that's not counting the times he died and went to hell and got AIDS. Ah, Roddy. He was currently working at said pizza place, as a matter of fact. Just him and his cousin Grover, who's twice as hairy and fat as Rod was. Let's go to moving, Rod, said Grover, flipping some pieces from an old oven. But boss, replied Rod, he's told me I'd be promoted to assistant manager by now. Not the way you're working, Rod. I might have to promote that feeble old Victor before I promote you. Damn it, Rod. Damn it, Grover, said Rod. I quit. You can't quit because you're fired, shouted Grover. And he even started a fire this time around. Rod walked out of the pizza place, irritated with his loathsome cousin Grover. What would he do for work now that the family business had canned his ass? He didn't know, frankly, he didn't want to know. Perhaps work was something he could do without. Without any knowledge of what to do, Rod walked down Bush or Pine Street, whichever one was more convenient, and promptly bumped into Kirk. Hey, asshole, snapped Kirk. Watch where you're going, you turkey. If it isn't Kirk, said Rod. Nah, not you again, Rod, said Kirk. I thought our days together were numbered. That might be so, but it's not anymore, said Rod. Anyway, I'm looking for a real job, a new job, and I was wondering if you had any leads. Leads, eh? Asked Kirk. Look, I haven't worked a paying job in 10 years except for that merch gig I did the other night, which I didn't get paid for. I live entirely on SSI and EBT. Sorry to hear that, Kirk, said Rod. I had no idea you'd been out of work for so long. Yeah, so what's it to you then? Asked Kirk. Is there anything you actually want? Well, now that you mention it, I like to bury the metaphorical hammer, said Rod. I like it for us to be friends again, as it were. Well, it ain't, said Kirk, and it never will be. I don't need friends except for chicks to fuck. You sicken me, said Rod, and left.